Welcome to the Here We Go podcast. I am your host, Trent Gang. Today, I'm going to be talking about the quarterback position. So, this is obviously going to be a topic of conversation that's going to continue on throughout the week. Should the Steelers make a change? Should they stick with Justin Fields? Now, I don't know how many of you follow Mr. Dulac there. He's been plugged in as one of maybe the most respected insider the Steelers have had for a long time. He has said that Russell Wilson has been cleared medically for 2 weeks, but the team was being overly cautious. So I think there's two parts to that. Number one, there's probably some truth to it because we saw that in the preseason. Russell played the second preseason game. Third preseason game, before the third preseason game, he tweaks that calf again, and it delayed him all the way up until this point. So you could understand the team being overly cautious. The second part to that is that I think the team genuinely wants to see what they have with Justin Fields. He's 25 years old. He's the guy who could potentially be a long-term solution at quarterback, and you really just want to take a look and see what you have with him. But as of right now, this team wants to win, and they're worried about Vegas. So who gives them the best shot to win in Las Vegas? I personally think the team is going to go with Russell Wilson in this game. We've seen 2 consecutive weeks of losses. We've been leading the division. We're tied for the lead in division right now, despite losing 2 games in a row. But you can clearly see the offensive trajectory is just not very good right now. The question is, how much of that offensive trajectory do you put on Justin Fields? How much of it do you put on the offensive line? How much of it do you put on the play calling? How much do you put on the wide receiver room? I think it's fair to say there's blame to go around, and there is plenty of blame to go around. Everybody definitely has a hand in the offensive deficiencies, especially from that Dallas game. Dallas was missing pretty much everybody. But they found a way to shut our offense down. That's concerning. Right now, this offensive line cannot get any push in the run game. And I do feel like a big portion of some of our issues is that we're just so predictable. I posted on X during the game, our offense was run, pass on third down. Run, pass on third down. The first series, we actually came out throwing. We almost hit a deep shot when we kind of leaked Connor Hayward out of the backfield. Ball just outside of his reach. He did bring it in, just couldn't survive the ground. He hits that play. That could have set the tone for the entire game. We tried another deep shot later to Washington. Justin really needed to put a little bit of air under the ball. He kind of threw it on the line. Didn't really give Washington a good chance to adjust. And let's be honest, Washington's not the greatest receiving threat at the tight end position as it is. That would have been a play, because that would have taken him inside I think the ball hit his fingertips somewhere around the 7-yard line, 6-yard line. I don't know, somewhere in that ballpark. That could have been a big play. And we kind of went away from that. And then after that first couple series, whatever it was, it just felt like run, pass. And then we're like, why aren't we doing better on third down? Well, the run game's averaging like 3 yards a carry. And you're basically at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5 consistently every single time. We weren't really getting ourselves in position. And even when we were in 3rd and short, we ran the ball and we barely got 2 yards. There's so much predictability in this offense. And I'm not 100% sure if it's because we just truly do not trust this offensive line to sustain a block to get any type of a splash play in this offense. If that's the case, it's going to be a really long season. Or do we not trust Justin Fields throwing the football so much so that we're just willing to play a predictable style of offense and hope that something happens? Because that's what you're doing. If you're playing to where the defense knows what you're doing every single series, you're hoping something accidentally happens and somebody makes a play and gives you an opportunity. Now, on the scoring drive in the second half that led to the Connor Hayward touchdown, we threw the ball the entire way down the field. And then we didn't do that again the whole rest of the game. Why do you see something work? And I was screaming again. This is the second week in a row. I was screaming from the rooftops to throw the ball in the middle of the field because they were playing a lot of too high safety. They were determined to take away George Pickens and let somebody else win this game. And they were daring Justin to throw the football. And as an offense, we just, again, refused to adjust to it. Outside of one drive, we threw the ball in the middle of the field. We found some completions. And oddly enough, it all started with Kyle Allen coming in and hitting a 19-yard pass that opened that whole drive up. Justin Fields obviously is not perfect. He is still missing reads. He hides guys open. He's not throwing the ball to. He's got his number one receiver getting benched mid-game. I don't know how you can put a large portion of this on Justin Fields. He does have a hand in the fact that things weren't working out. He's still the quarterback of the team, and it's a quarterback-driven league. You can give him blame. I'm not absolving him of anything. I just don't see how you give him a large portion of the blame. At the end of the day, this offensive line is bad. Your number one receiver is not acting like a number one receiver. The play designs are not to throw the ball to the middle of the field. In a too high safety look, where the middle of the field should be wide open, the seam should be wide open down the middle. And the run game just cannot get going at all. I don't know how much of this Justin Fields could do differently to make it better. What they expect Russell Wilson to do that Justin Fields isn't. Because there's no doubt in my mind, there's times Justin's running for his life. Russell ain't going to get away from it. He's nowhere near as mobile as Justin Fields. Most quarterbacks in the NFL aren't. It's Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson. That's the entire list of guys that are that mobile. Kyler Murray's close. He'd be the next closest guy. The one thing that I will say, Tomlin's going to trust Russell Wilson more than he trusts Justin Fields, and maybe he'll let him do some checks at the line. So when he sees something, maybe they'll let him adjust the play like they used to do with Ben. Ben used to be able to make any check at the line that he wanted. He could call different plays at the line of scrimmage. If he knew a play flat wasn't going to work, he changed the play. They don't let Justin do that. They're treating him with the same kid gloves they treated Kenny Pickett with, and it's absurd. If you know a play's not going to work, get out of it. Don't bang your head up against the wall and try to do it anyway. Maybe they'll give that freedom to Russell Wilson. I don't know. But based on what I've seen, especially these last two games, I don't know what Russ is going to do so much differently than Justin Fields, outside of he does see the field much better. He will get their progressions better. Justin, I thought, has been he's been extremely accurate. We've not seen him just completely miss on balls the way that he had done kind of at times in Chicago. I don't know. I honestly think we're going to see Russell Wilson in this game. I think no matter what happens, it's going to be inflated because Vegas isn't very good. They may take some more deep shots with Russell Wilson, but if that's only if they trust an offensive line to do so. And right now, it's pretty apparent by the play calling they don't trust the offensive line at all. The receivers can't get open, and the offensive line can't block. So what exactly do you want the quarterback to do about that? That, to me, is very telling because I just do not think Russell Wilson is going to make that much of a difference in this offense. I thought Broderick Jones still had a bad game. Again, he cannot put together a decent game right now. Dan Moore Jr. has been maybe the best lineman outside of Zach Frazier. I don't think either quarterback's going to have a ton of success until they go get a number 2 wide receiver in this offense. I just think that's going to be the biggest factor right now. You have no one who can beat man coverage. No one. And that includes George Pickens. That dude is not getting open. He's making plays because he's extremely talented, but he's not getting open. I just don't know what you think the quarterbacks are going to do, but I anticipate the change coming from Tomlin. It'll probably be announced late this week. They're going to wait for Russell to get through a week's worth of practice, but it's going to be very telling of who he has out there with the ones. There's a lot of people talking about, oh, well, look what Mason Rudolph did. Russell Wilson can do a lot of the same things that Mason Rudolph did, and that'll turn George Pickens around, and you're going to get your wish. I think you're going to get your wish at least. The issues that we felt were going to be there for this offense going into the season have definitely come out the last. Offensive line and wide receiver right now are just an absolute mess. The thing I will say, I've thought Calvin Austin was open quite a bit in that game and he didn't get the ball. That might be on Justin. I mean, you almost have to put it on Justin if he's the quarterback, right? So maybe they're seeing some of those things, and maybe they think Russell Wilson will take advantage of those things. There were a number of plays I saw Calvin Austin taking off downfield that I thought could be a splash play, and Justin just didn't throw the ball. But for the end of Ben's career, through Kenny's time here, and now Justin's time here, every one of these quarterbacks are going to the checkdowns first and not looking for the deep shots. There's one common denominator in this because it's been 3 different coordinators where this is happening. And it feels like Tomlin's still just trying to play too safe. And you can't do that in the NFL. And honestly, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. If you're just going to use them to throw checkdowns all game, it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You could probably throw Kyle Allen out there and he can throw checkdowns. It's not going to amount to much. You're not putting together sustaining drives that way. Until Tomlin puts his finger somewhere outside of on this offensive blueprint and allows this offense to do something good or bad, we're just going to continue to see the same results. Keeping it close and asking your defense to win is not a good formula in the NFL. Especially when that defense is missing Alex Highsmith. Then they lose Nick Herbig. Then you lose DeMarvin Leal. You were already out Larry Ogunjobi, who's surprised this year. And the defense gets carved up for 357 yards by Dak Prescott. They got carved up last week by Joe Flacco. I mean, they gave you a blocked field goal and multiple turnovers. How many plays do you want this defense to make before you ask the offense to do literally anything? I mean, this isn't realistic NFL football to expect to win under the conditions that we have right now, which is play it extraordinarily safe, don't lose the game on offense, and let's see if the defense can go win one for us. I just don't think you're going to beat good teams that way. And so far, we lost to a bad Colts team and a good Dallas team that was missing most of their players. I mean, they were missing a ton of guys. Now, of course, Colin and I are going to get into a much deeper breakdown into this tomorrow. But my opinion on the matter is I don't think Justin should lose his job based on what we've seen so far. No, last game wasn't good. I'm not defending Justin. I just personally don't think it matters who's in at quarterback right now. I think we're all going to see, though, because I think it's 100% shot Russell Wilson's playing in this game, and I will be 100% shocked if it's not. Tomlin is going to go with the guy he considers to be the safe bet. If Wilson's healthy enough to play, he feels good about starting him, he's going to play him. And I mean if he feels good about starting him health-wise, not what he brings to the table. If he feels like Russell's healthy enough to be out there and play and run around and be Russell Wilson, then I 100% expect Mike Tomlin to play him. And I don't think he's going to hesitate on making that decision. I personally think it's a mistake. But I think we're all going to get to see if you're in the Russell Wilson camp and you're the anti-Justin Fields crowd, I think you're about to see exactly what you're hoping to see. If you're in the camp of Justin Fields could be our future, I think they're going to start to throw that out the window this week. And I expect Russ to have a decent game because the Vegas team just isn't very good. which means he'll start the following week against the Jets. And then we'll see what he does against a guy like Sauce Gardner matching up against George Pickens and having absolutely no one to throw to. Because it's abundantly clear if you take away George Pickens, our offense has no one to throw to. So let me know what you think. Do you think the team should ride with Justin Fields? Because I think we all thought through 4 games, or at least most thought through 4 games, he's done enough to keep getting the nod. Do you think you'd rather see Russell Wilson in there right now? Was this game just so abundantly bad offensively that you feel like we need to make a change? And the position that has the most impact is the quarterback position. I will understand both sides of the argument. I completely get it. So if you're in that group that you think that just change needs to happen because it's the most impactful position, then yeah, okay. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to say you're wrong. It's not my personal belief. But Justin didn't play very well either, so it is what it is. I don't think you bench a guy over one bad game. That's just how I operate. If Justin has another bad game in Vegas, then I would say, okay, now we can have a conversation about Russ. But I'm not benching him over one bad game. I do believe Tomlin's going to. So let me know what you think. Whose side are you on? Are you on Team Russ? Are you on Team Justin? Do you think this team's just completely screwed offensively for the season until we make a trade at wide receiver? Do you think we're screwed in general? Do we still have people who are optimistic about what this offense is capable of? I really would love to hear it. Let me know what you think. As always, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow live for me and Colin's breakdown of the game. Hope to catch you all in the comments.